Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. How are you today? Hopefully, you are always in good condition. Okay, let's start our activities today with saying Basmalah. Now, we want to introduce ourselves. We are from 8 group. The members are me, Anis Kurniasari, Dwi Sulistiwati, and the last is Fauziah Nurma Fidiana. Our material is about speech act. What is speech act? Speech act as the action performed by language to modify the states of the object on which the action is performed. It can represent an action effectively fulfilled by a sentence. As an act of communication, a speech act succeeds if the audience identifies in accordance with the speaker's intention, the attitude being expressions. Then, types of speech act. There are 3 types of acts in the speech act. They are locutionary, illocutionary, and perlocutionary. Locutionary speech is meaning, namely the literal meaning of the utterance. It is roughly equivalent to uttering certain in uttering with certain sense and reference, which again is roughly equivalent to meaning in traditional sense, said Austin in 1962. In line with this, Cutting states that locutionary is what is said. In other words, locutionary act is the act simple uttering a sentence from a language. It is a description of what the speaker says. It's the act of using a referring expressions and a predicating expressions. Example of locutionary. There are 3 examples of locutionary. The first is, it's so dark in this room. Then, the book is heavy. Third, the bar will be closed in 5 minutes. The sentence above represents the actual condition. It means that the first sentence refers to the lighting of the room. Second sentence refers to the weight of the box. The third sentence saying that the bar will be closed in 5 minutes. Number 2 is perlocutionary. Hofford and Hasley states that perlocutionary act is the act that is carried out by a speaker when making an utterance causes in certain effect on the hearer and others. Perlocutionary act is also the act uttering something. Then it refers to the effect the utterance has on the thought or actions of other persons. A perlocutionary act is specific to the circumstance of issues and is therefore not conventionally achieved just by using the particular utterance, and includes all use effects, intended or unintended, often determines that some particular utterance in a particular situation cause. Example of perlocutionary. It's so dark in this room. The box is heavy. The bar will be closed in 5 minutes. Based on the example, it can be inferred that the first sentence is uttered by someone while switching the light on. The second sentence is done by someone while lifting up the box, and the third sentence, the bartender intends to be performing these acts by causing the customers to believe the bar is about to close and of getting them the one and the other one last drink.
Okay, the next is illocutionary. Illocutionary act can be defined as what the speaker intends to do by uttering a sentence. The illocutionary act is performed via the communicative force of an utterance, such as promising, apologizing, and offering. This act is also called the act of doing something in saying something. The most significant level of action in a speech act is the illocutionary act, because the force which has been decided by the speakers determines this act. Jadi, tindakan ilokusi dilakukan melalui kekuatan komunikatif ucapan, seperti menjanjikan, meminta maaf, dan menawarkan. Tindakan ini disebut juga tindakan melakukan sesuatu dalam mengatakan sesuatu. Tingkatan tindakan yang paling signifikan dalam suatu tindak tutur adalah tindak ilokusi, karena gaya yang diinginkan oleh penutur menentukan tindakan tersebut. An illocutionary act success if the hearer recognizes the attitude being expressed, such as a belief in the case of statement and a desire in the case of request. Jadi, suatu tindakan ilokusi berhasil jika pendengarnya mengenali sikap tersebut, sikap yang sedang diungkapkan tersebut, seperti keyakinan dalam kasus pernyataan dan keinginan dalam kasus permintaan. Illocutionary act can be the real description of interaction condition. For example, the first, it is so dark in this room. And the second example is, the box is heavy. Based on the examples above, the first sentence shows a request to switch the light on, and the second sentence shows a request to lift up the box. Okay, the next is the types of illocutionary. Illocutionary have 5 types. The first type is assertive, and then declarative, and the third is commissive, and then expressive, and the last is directive. The first one is assertive. Assertive is the statement that might be judged true or false because the aim to describe a state of affairs in the world. For the example, the black cat is stupid. And then the second one is declarative. Declarative statements that attempt to change the world by representing it as having been changed. For the example is, we find this defendant guilty.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Desiree and I'll explain the next presentation. Okay, the next part of illusionary is commissives. Commissives are speech acts that the utterance commit the speaker to some future course of action. This include promising, threatening, offering, refusal, and suggest. And the example, I'll be back. When someone says I'll be back, represent the speaker's promise that he or she will be back. And the next, expressive. Expressives are speech aids that the utterance express a psychological state. The speech aids include thanking, apologizing, welcoming, and congratulating. Example, don't be shy, my home is your home. When someone say don't be shy, my home is your home, the utterance represents the speaker's expression that he or she welcomes someone. And the next is directive. Directive speech aid is utterance which attempt to get someone to do something. The point of which is to direct the hearer toward doing something, which have a word-to-word direction of it, in which is expressed in which the proposition is a future act done by the hearer. Example: could you lend me a pencil? When someone say, could you lend me a pencil, please? The utterance represents the speaker requests that the hearer to do something, which is to lend him a pencil.